Greetings. I would like to read selections from a book entitled Visions This Terrain. It is a work of poetry by myself, Jeffrey B. Hall, and it is effectively an attempt at the precision involved with the image consciousness as we concern ourselves with the notion of co-presence, and the idea that transcendental human becoming would be somehow involved with this co-presence, and that we would see within our minds that very person of which we were thinking, not as a phantasm, but as an actual presence in our mind that was more about the universe, where concerns very practical, pragmatic notions of how we interact as subjects intersubjectively, and how we posit ourselves as objects. And the notion that there would be any sort of consideration of how that would resolve to an undoing of academic life or aesthetic life in pursuit of something ethical that was not grounded in the aforementioned would be the representation that I would be trying to remove where considering the following work. The ivory towers crumbling down. Blind despairs, the arms of silence floored beyond the absence there. Torpid scores of scavengers rescinding lands where storms reside. Portal glimpse declined of moors allured within the breadth of air. Here inside there's nothing where these lives deplored have wet the skies. Find completion's darkness gleams of souls never exposed this world. One conceives of everything, yet nothing's real or stands alone. Capacities we seek to feel and clinical delights obscured. Wisdom is what shelters every deed and act which we condone. Signified, we bond incision from the spirit to the bone. Meaning is a mountain where the plains are always left behind. Engulfed in flames, the showers tame what's built these bodies' broken lives, and will confide with this that hides beneath the space we strive to roam. Where the fortress of a soul is speaking from the depths of earth, and the heavens' oxygen destroys the pathways where we merge. Beacon through the searchlight and the crushing born, no mortal fate. Die where we might never breathe another breath to castigate. Arriving where the future melds of throned desires we consummate. Where the barriers persist, our lives unravel from the edge. Thrive to battle what awaits, but represent where we exist, to motion there toward a truth that's rattled by each thought we've pledged. Judge completion's insight to the wandering, reflected world. There beyond those palaces, the ivory towers crumbling down. Everything that's ever made, resisting urge, tumbling in haste, to where we'll find the reason that will bend our fates to wear a crown. Well, this selection is something that I would like to put as the sort of front to the notion that beauty is inherent of the species being, but yet what we do is we dismantle ourselves. We self-destruct, in a sense, where we begin to sort of realize that the higher consciousness should be something more of a equal place yet still at the same time subjectivity is possessed by its own desire to posit itself as something of meaning. So the notion that the signifier is the ivory tower being a symbolization of something that is quite vertical versus the horizontal notion that we can see ourselves through others. This displays the similar idea with the mirror phase of reflexive activity and the reflection of the other, essentially. So it's the idea that one can perceive oneself through the other and sense some inner wisdom where it concerns the presence of the other, yet realize that it does the sort of negation of the ivory tower. The notion that the ivory tower is crumbling down is sort of the notion that the ivory tower is something that is not presenting us with the possibility of achieving our higher wisdom that was sort of in the initial sort of Greek phases of philosophy more possible. So no world's mirage would be the notion that things that are illusory would be equally present within the mind as in the mirror phase and so on and so forth, and in terms of the natural components of the planet, as it were. This is entitled No World's Mirage. Swaying through the corridors we watched as sun eclipsed our fate. Breathing somewhere innocence, awakened light begins anew. Beyond the place where life conflates, a consciousness of image poured, existence freed, within the hold of this that's born, no worlds refute. Substance yields those thoughts conceived, interior and captured bold, vanishing, stolen away, concealed of what's within, and this of which we understand. Subsisting fragments to the soul, where there is nothing which will breed, yet interspace the world accedes to be what's held within our hands. Where the real confides its truth, preponderance of earth received, abandoned from the sight before appearances that fold through time, revealed of an adherence to the endlessness within the search, wheeled beyond what's here inside, the ever vaunted is the mind. Thereto the bastions of regret assembled through the fields of worth, fissures bled the universe where motions caused within the chase. Floating beings molded to our whims as structures fled no world's mirage, perceived of energies where waste received those spirits own resign. And finally, I believe we have the next poem that I'm going to read is one that is based upon the idea to a resistance to war, but also warring resistance. And I think it has a lot to do with the way the call of consciousness happens, this sort of Heideggerian idea of what poetry is. But it also regards the notion of the idea that authoritative powers are not necessarily simply authoritative, they're also ethical boundaries that exist and limitations. So the way we limit our own spiritual becoming is part of the idea of resisting something or not resisting something. But the notion that we would become of those very same things which we resist, that sometimes the output of the very things that we transcend. So, hence the notion of war resistance. Darkness is the ember of the world where we renounced our fate. It returns the burn upon horizons posited beyond. Upon a mirror will linger there as infinite outside the haze, and here within a shadowed mind where emptiness has been foregone. Thrown upon the tunneled caves, their rays no more to hold us down. We are those unbound to wage what others thought we'd never seek, to plow through ashes of the times and clutch these passions we have crowned, to reason with the moments seized and war resistance as we speak. Blackened ambush, we've betrothed on bush that founds what earth ignites, falls from heavens where the towns conceived of us through woe and hate. Revealed no sorrows but our consequences there within the night, perceived no more beyond the sight, a silence where we'll die or wait. Thereto to puncture spheres that do consume what's here for us to face, presumed that we are fellows, never disappeared upon a wall, souls that only follow those determinations that will make, exposed of essences resumed, within one realm our voices call. Thank you for watching.